Am I ready? Are you ready? Hello, everybody. You'd assume that Dylan would be playing the Van Halen stuff.
But I'm fiddling with this mouse.
He's playing with mice.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Eugene and Dylan's Guitar Show. This is Eugene Edwards over here. That's Dr. Dylan Caligiuri right over there.
Hey, folks.
And this episode is brought to you by nobody.
Well,
actually, we do have a Patreon.
We do.
So
it's brought to you by... Hey, so if you're not members of our Patreon, join us, and we will defeat the evil empire together.
Join us. Please join us.
Join us.
But
the link's in the description. Also... we got to do housekeeping.
Links in the description.
Everybody like this episode, please.
Just do it now.
We never do this.
Just get this out of the way.
We never do this.
Did you know, like in Annie Hall, or is it in Manhattan, where at the beginning of the date, they're walking and say, hey, let's just kiss now.
Yeah.
That way we're not wondering. And
it's not
if we
weird.
kiss now, and then we can eat and we can digest our food better.
And know that,
So just like it now.
Yeah.
And touch that button softly, all right? Just go easy. And don't let us forget to go out on a big G chord at the end of it. Everybody's got their guitars. And I don't know if this is not housekeeping, but something's been haunting me since we were talking about the 80's covers band, 80's cover band songs. Eileen Foley out there in the wilds of Massachusetts.
In the Foley worlds, yes. In the Foley lands.
Yeah. Eileen, you were like an indie rock girl from the 80's, aren't you?
Right. Yeah.
Because now I'm thinking about it. I think you play a Jazzmaster or a Jaguar. Like you have an offset Fender. So I'm thinking, that's a very indie move, man. And I think it's really hip. So I'm curious what if Eileen's here. She may not even be here yet, but say hi to Eileen when she gets in.
Also, Allison has a hand injury, and we all want to wish Allison.
Oh, Allison! Okay, well, don't tell me what happened. It's none of my business.
Get better now.
Get better. Take your time. Don't put Mara Lee, who's in the chat, she suffered a terrible wrist injury.
Yeah.
And she has been making great progress playing guitar. But, she's a private student of mine.
Oh, okay.
What we've been working with lately, she's really enjoying arpeggios. Because that way she doesn't have to try and make bar chords or do any crazy stretches. Doing like a lot of vertical arpeggios.
Sure.
And she's really, really, really digging arpeggio work, and she's doing really well at it too. So kudos. But the point is, hi, there's Eileen. There, hello.
Adaptation, key component to evolution. That's
and
all I'm saying.
Bruce up there in northern Indiana. I love northern Indiana, especially because it's so damn close to Chicago.
It gets a little chilly up there. It can be windy too, so be careful.
And Greg over there in Nebraska, Mr. Folgeman. Hello, Henry out there in Connecticut.
Drunkle Bob's back. Hey, Drunkle, welcome back.
The Granite State, Connecticut, also the Nutmeg State. Oh, George Thorogood, Bad to the Bone is one of his. Now, okay, so we're doing the cover band songs of the 80's part 2. And this is good. We're going to kind of lean towards heavy metal or hard rock. Thorogood out of Delaware.
That's his hardest rock song.
Not even Philly, but out of Delaware. Yeah, Bad to the Bone. I mean, the thing about Thorogood, he probably made his bones by playing like Chuck Berry style rock and just kind of like really straight ahead rock and roll, which was really, really hip. Bad to the Bone, obviously, he's kind of doing that. It's a great shuffle. Yeah. The open G, I believe.
G?
I think it's because he's in open G tuning with slide. Anyway, but you're right. That would probably be a big 80's cover song. You kind of go into that. You almost need a sax player. Oh, Eileen, Jazzmaster in '84. That is total, man. Yeah, that
84.
That's an indie girl move.
Wow.
Driving and Crying straight to hell. Well, I don't know how many. Good call, John. But I don't know. I don't know if that's going to really get him on the dance floor. But that's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut.
And a hi from Tom there in Southwest Colorado. I'm heading to Colorado tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, I'm playing somewhere. Playing somewhere. I'm staying in Denver, but I'm playing. I don't know.
It's a beautiful city.
I know I'm playing in Fort Collins. Denver's a beautiful city. Can I tell you something about Okay.
Go ahead.
There's a certain hotel.
Yeah.
There in Denver. I'm gonna tell you which one, but
the Radisson.
It's a very fancy one.
The Radisson.
This is years ago. Anyway, so it was a hot day. Understand? It's hot.
It does get hot there.
It was a hot Denver day.
Yeah.
And I wanted an iced tea. So I'm in the lobby, and then the pretty girl brings me an iced tea,
right.
And I'm drinking iced tea. It's delicious, but I keep looking at it like there's something that looks different.
Yeah.
It's just a glass of iced tea, but
right.
I'm mesmerized by it. Something's off.
Sure.
Or something's distracting.
It's absinthe. It was absinthe.
No,
this is always going to go off the rails.
Tea. So she comes back to check on me, And I said, the iced tea's one. She goes, would you like a refill? I said, I would love one, but she goes, I saw you looking at it. Is it okay? I said, it's delicious, but I can't figure out something's different about
alcohol.
This. No. The ice cubes are made out of iced tea.
Sweet mother of God.
So when
it's meta tea.
So when it
it's meta tea.
So when it melts, it doesn't water down it, and so it looked because it's not clear ice cube. It's all. And I said, you guys are just showing off here. Now I tell you, here's the funny part. My mind is blown. I'm so impressed that I decide arbitrarily,
right,
that I'm just going to turn around and the first person I see,
sure,
I'm just in a hotel. I'm just in the lobby. First person, I'm going to tell them about the ice cubes,
and
I'm so excited.
It's really monumental.
So I turn to my left, and there's I'm on a couch, but it's back to back with another couch.
Wilford
so there's a person.
That's what it's going to be.
So I turn around, I say, hey, and the guy turns around, and it's Dave Matthews.
Oh,
he just happens to be. Now he's got security guys standing in front of him, but they're not worried about the guy sitting on the couch behind him. Well, sure enough, and he turns around and goes. And I look at him and I go, oh my! And I don't know Dave. I've never met this guy. So, but but I can't break my bit. I made a promise to myself that I had to tell someone about it.
Just tell him there's.
So I did. I told him I was so excited. He says, "Well, that's pretty badass."
It is kind of a
I
big
said,
deal.
"It's very badass." Anyway,
and then he said, "What would you say?" Like that.
He gave me an NPR bag.
Yeah. NPR tote bag.
Yeah, tote bag. Yeah, nice guy.
Well, who could forget this number though?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was our topic?
You guys ready for this
one?
I
got way off topic.
Here we go. Again.
I don't know the words. Don't do the 5 yet. Now. Sorry. God damn it. Long 5.
Dirty to me. That was it.
Okay, so something. Yeah. So I always liked that band because they were like the funny ones,
right?
They were kind of like the goofier of the. They
were the
hair
fun
metal
side of cocaine. Like, yeah, not the dark.
So, you were saying something about CC DeVille's solos.
Oh, yeah. So CC DeVille's solos, I think are we were both saying this. Chuck Berry, sort of derived in many ways. I think you just listen to a lot of soul albums, but the like this whole kind of dyads things that he does all the time.
That's really tasty.
It's really cool.
You know what that reminds me? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
But in a good way, it reminds me of stuff like that we'd hear on a Stones or a Faces record.
Yeah,
like melodic, but kind of simple rock.
Grittier because it's the 80s.
Well, no. So we have to
Fly to the Navigator.
We compensate for compression and 80s production ethics.
Yeah.
But continue. I'm sorry.
Well, and then so even he still plays the changes though. So when it comes to he has a. So he's going. He's just bluesing the song, pretty much.
Right.
But he can do more. There's other songs. So he's showing, the guys in Quiet Riot. I could do it too.
I have a question about this.
Yeah.
You're right. I do. First, I bump into Peter Frampton, then I bump into Dave Matthews. You're right, Marilee. I live a charmed life. Now, why? I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
Sure.
Why did a lot of guitar players at that point in the 80s, they were able to do this
legato style playing?
All that stuff.
That's the soundbite.
What I mean, what sort of social force was going on where dudes were now doing that stuff?
So there was a surge of neoclassicism.
Rococo, if you will.
Neoclassicism that had made its way into music.
Hard rococo.
And you hear it most pronounced in
this ain't Coco.
The Ingve stuff, right? Also, you can hear it in the Michael Schenker and the other.
Oh, they have the Scorpion stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's just basically diatonic, stepwise sounds. So instead of pentatonic is leaving 2 notes out of a major or minor scale, right?
Yes.
So if it's minor, I've left out the 2nd, and now I'm going to leave out the 6th. So I didn't have this note in there either. Yeah. So it has a wider sound, right? It has a wider sound. Whereas if we start doing this...
But what was that?
This is the scale from which the minor pentatonic scale is derived.
Oh, it's the full scale.
It's the minor scale,
all 7,
right? And
it's all 7 notes.
Once you get that into place, once we start hearing the stepwise motion, our ears start to hear this legato, neoclassical or sort of classical sounds, and they just kind of go to it.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is, so there's some sort of history of rock guitar going on, meaning we didn't hear that in the 50s or in the 60s. I guess we're starting to hear it in the late 70s. We definitely hear it a lot in the 80s.
They're doing it a ton.
So, I mean, we know...
They take it back out in the 90s.
Like, I guess Randy Rhoads is the first guy, because we know quite famously he studied classical music, classical guitar since he was a little kid.
Yeah.
And so, at some point, someone puts an electric guitar in his hands, and those scales are just there.
Right.
But was it GIT, musicians
I think GIT had a big influence. I think also enough distortion on things with it still being audible. So being able to have a sustain.
So your hammer-ons and pull-offs.
Which, if we were clean, not only could if I pick notes, they'll get out in front. Right. They'll poke out in front.
But with all this gain, there's more compression.
I'm
and
compressed. I'm getting out in front all the time. It's harder to get way out in front without turning up, though. And so there's less dynamics in general because you're compressed. But remember that. Distortion is natural compression.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the tubes will start to...
That's right. So anyways, that's that, and then people started doing it and it caught on.
John Waby brings up, this is a underrated 80s guitar moment. The cutting head scene at the end of Crossroads.
Yeah.
Right? And it's Steve Vai, obviously, playing For the Devil.
And then the kid from...
Ralph Macchio...
Who's not playing at all.
It's Arlen Roth is playing his stuff, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. By the way, I actually like that part of it.
What?
Of the 2 soloists, I really like the Arlen Roth stuff.
Well, because he does it...
Yeah, he starts doing some Paganini-esque.
Well, no, but that's the thing where he was studying classical guitar, and then it's kind of the irony at the he goes to the Crossroads. It's all that legend stuff. But by the way, I can't wait to see Sinners, the Ryan Coogler movie. Anyway, and in the end, basically, his classical training is what kind of helps him put shames the devil.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Ergo,
good
Steve
call,
Vai.
John. Yeah. So
Ray
Cooder does the slide stuff. Yeah, Michael, I think Rye. Yeah, I want somewhere between Rye and Arlen. I think Arlen may have been the hand coach. Like he I don't know. You guys can Google this.
Who knows? Yeah.
But Crazy Train.
Yeah,
that is technically an 80s
really
thing. No, so there's like a meme I saw somewhere about like Crazy Train's a bit schizophrenic in that. No pun intended. Well, no, yeah. Well, at first it's a. Got that, and then it's Swing Town. Come on and dance. Come on. It's all of a sudden he puts on a fuzzy sweater. It's got a major 7th in there, and that's what it's like. This really interesting pop record. All of a sudden,
I just think so.
I think Randy's just working the shape at that point, right?
Well, not only that, I'm old enough to know that when you were learning guitar, even at my age, you had such a limited amount of material to learn from, and so you would just start throwing these idioms that you had learned or been exposed to into songs, and you were bucking trends and conventions because you weren't really aware of them, to be honest with you. So I think everybody had a little less ubiquity in that way because there was a limited amount of source information. You were getting a lot of different things coming out of. Does this make sense?
Yeah,
that's what I hear from his playing.
Okay, so that is a great example of like some sort of social or technological shift that informs.
Yeah.
That eventually it trickles over to our rock guitar, basically.
Because you had guitar magazines, and you had
I know. I definitely
taught in town that was actually good.
By the mid '80s into the late '80s, I would get both Guitar Player and Guitar World
was out.
Those were the 2.
Guitar World came out. Yeah.
By the way, the Talk Dirty to Me reminds me of another thing, which is. what's so notice both the root and the fifth travel together on both of those. So in the Talk Dirty to Me, you move both the dyad moves. It's not.
They both move. Yeah.
And same thing with We're Not Gonna Take It.
Thing.
It's going down the E major scale, but the fifth goes with it. So instead of it.
Yeah, and you can hear that.
You can feel that.
It's a guitar
the whole
thing.
moving. It's a very guitar thing. But I always thought that kind of felt very 80s hair metal to me.
I think so.
And that really melodic
I think it's
sense,
fair.
You know.
Oh, wait, but there's one more thing on this song.
Go ahead.
So this is a great song for you to take, any song, by the way. But this song, the solo in the song is... So anytime you guys can take a melody you're working on and learn how to play it, or just a melody you can sing, like figure out how to play it on the guitar by ear.
So we did like you know, like a thing on soloing back when we were working for the Mothership, and I remember
The one I'm thinking of, the improvising one.
No. There was different categories, like different options of like approaches to soloing, and one was play the melody.
Yeah,
just play the melody.
Oh,
no one's ever harmed another human being by just playing the melody. But when we play the melody, take advantage of the fact that you play guitar, and so you're going to do things that the singer can't do with the melody.
Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff.
All
the singer
sorts of
wishes
stuff.
they could do.
Try that.
Yeah.
So that's a great example of why that record holds up. It's got a hook and it's got this melody that it never strays too far from the melody. The bridge, that chromatic bridge thing, raises the tension.
Yeah.
But then not too long, and before you're at that breakdown part, and they go
You're
right back to the chorus.
1-4-5
Yeah,
blues,
it's like a classical Slade
But the thing
tune or
about
something.
learning a melody on guitar by ear, you guys, like, don't look it up. Don't get a tab. Force yourself to figure it out by ear. Limit what you're trying to go at so you actually get it done and don't give up.
Yeah, just like for instance, I'm sorry. It's just what he means like da 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 da. Stop right there. Just
stop there.
That. I know what you're saying. Eric's like easier said than done. No.
You can do that much.
Make it easy.
Yeah.
Da,
make it a win.
Da, 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 da.
But here's why this is so important. If you want to feel like you know what you're doing when you're playing guitar, know what all these frets sound like. And that's the only way to do that. Is eventually you could just go, and you'll be able to sing everything you're playing because you spent so much time.
Well, George My Benson.
Yeah.
Eric says, this is interesting. Well, there's a lot of interesting things here. But what I was about to say about just learn that those first 5 or 6 notes of the melody, because the next 5 or 6 notes are probably somewhere in the range of that already.
And you're gonna be on a high. It's not gonna feel like a lift.
The sense of accomplishment is great. By the way, Eric's talking about tabs, because that's where in 80s rock the guitar magazines, tabs were huge.
They were,
and that's why it probably helps explain why we have so many guitar players to this day.
I think so.
Hobbyists, professional,
I think
on all levels. And I remember thinking like tab, like it's cheating, until and then I'm in Europe, and I don't think I bumped into anyone famous on this one, but I met maybe the Uffizi Gallery or something like that. One of the ones that's owned by the Medici. Well, there's the music room in one of these castles, and there's like lutes and all those sorts of instruments. And then there's
how it's written,
and it's all tab.
It's older than notation.
They were using it in the 1500s, 1400s, right?
Sorry.
So it's okay.
Sorry, my piano teacher in 3rd grade. You're wrong.
But Mary Lee says the hunt and peck method. By all means, hunt and peck method, although it's not that structured, but it kind of is in the category of ear training.
It is.
It's the germ of ear training, and we know, and that's extremely valuable. Yeah, the chord extensions, but that's the great thing about these magazines. They really did push you to not get upset if you saw like a number in a chord.
I think he's saying they hurt him.
Well, no, painful.
Is that what
I think
it is?
Emotionally,
I see.
They bring something there. Now Greg, you're right. Here's the white elephant here is Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's one guitar player that influenced like the decade of the 80s, not even by extension of the huge records he's on, including Beat It, which
I think Eddie Van Halen is in the Jimi Hendrix category of like mythological guitar players. And when you look at all mythological guitar players, it wasn't even just their playing. It was they built their own guitars.
You never stopped tinkering.
Yeah, they did everything different than everybody else was doing it, and they were way overly obsessed about it, and generally their lives were totally unbalanced.
Was it last week? Was I leaving here to go see the movie of Hendrix doing the? Yeah, right. That was last week. That
was last week.
So I watched Jimi Hendrix's set from the Monterey Pop Festival in the theater. Loud, it's really loud, just great. And yeah, it's you're right. You just like, here's a guy. It's just a standard Stratocaster. It's going to some Marshall stacks, but the first thing he does, it's of course it's upside down. The control panel's upside down. He's using the bar. He's using the even at the start
he's
of
doing
Foxy,
none of the things right.
At the start of Foxy Lady.
Yeah,
he's telling the audience, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to turn this up just slowly right here, and he's already got the feedback going. That woo,
yeah,
and he's talking the audience through it, like he's basically doing a clinic on how he's made this sound. But it's just it's hard to imagine. I think Michael Nesmith of the Monkees said this too. He says yes, people can appreciate Jimi Hendrix, they always will, but it's not the same as being alive at the time and hearing and seeing him for the first time.
Right.
We will
the novelty of that.
We're all just born into a world that already has Hendrix in it. And so anyway, back to Eddie Van Halen, though. Yeah, right. And the thing about Van Halen, it's hard to use mythological legend because there's so much footage of the guy doing it, but it's still just like, yeah, but how?
Well, I would say so. When I think of Van Halen, the cleanness of his playing is really quite phenomenal, right? So when I say that, I mean it's the articulation.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people shredding back then, but the shredding was like maybe not all that super clean. And so this was shredding that was like you could make it clean, and you could be playing a classical guitar, and
right?
And so this speaks to someone who is anal. Let's say, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, some of the stuff he was doing, like some of those pinch harmonics with the way, like
phenomenal,
like he's imitating David's screams and squeals.
Yeah.
Like he's just making car horn sounds and stuff. Now, the Beat It solo. I know.
That's hard to just do on the fly.
So I'm sorry. I just know you know it.
I didn't know I was going to play. That's the type of thing you go and have like one of those lattes. Something has to happen. Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess it was. Eric, you're going to be fine. You're going to be great, man.
We're not.
Well, we're not going to take it the hunt and peck by ear thing.
You can do it, Eric.
It's There's nothing you can do that can't be done.
No, you can do it. I guarantee you can do it.
So
start with one note.
Now here's one. I think we did a deep dive on this last year, but I still love this riff because it's so catchy. Which is "Round and Round" by Rat. Now this is one of the things where like if you're in a 80s cover band trying to stick with the theme, which we never do.
Yeah.
You go like da da da. Okay, so it's like E. Okay, I get it. And then there's this There's that. Yeah, that F sharp note over the C major, which is a Lydian thing for you modal people, you runway modals. I think that's part of the magic of a song like that. Was that
and
slight
it goes from
dissonance.
major to minor, like
right. So the point is, some of these songs, a lot of these songs, are. There's a trick to each one of them.
Mixture.
I could imagine because I didn't play. I've just never really played much of this stuff, not as much as Dylan has. So I'm really just I heard it. I was alive when it came out, but I wasn't really interested in learning it on guitar. But so I could easily fall for like being on a club gig and someone just calls one out randomly, like
yeah,
oh yeah,
right.
And then I'm just egg on my face halfway through. I have no clue how to get. I don't know what happens in this thing.
Yeah,
and that would be a great example if I'm not thinking.
Oh, this one's gonna be. I don't think you. This would be hard to sound out, Eric. This one in particular. Yeah. You're playing without a pick.
What?
Oh, you got a pick. Okay. It's like,
the pick just matches my
I
skin
hope that's not
tone.
AI. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Oh, don't make it a racial thing.
Hey, Here's the thing. So this Mark Zuckerberg, the guy, he's the Facebook Meta guy. You know about this guy? You ever heard of him?
Yes, alien-like kind of.
So
yeah.
Well, so like it's like they're asking like like a lot of people are lonely out there. Like lonely.
Yeah.
And so he says, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll try to fix that. I'll make AI friends for everybody."
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Well, did you ever think of an option where we could use the technology to bring other people together?
No.
That's not
going to work.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Why?
It's just not good sales. That's not going to work out. Sorry.
Well, no, what if we sold them like chess sets? We could sell them some stuff. Some
are there
some
lights on the
cards?
chess pieces? Are there boobs? What's going on? Come on.
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, my Uncle Steve has a
Yes,
set.
a special chess set.
But it was real ivory, so it's okay.
Yeah, it was artsy.
I made all that up. Aerosmith was covered by almost every house band. Now that song's from the 70s. However,
It really
the Run
is, yeah.
DMC one
is from right.
But don't forget, Aerosmith had this.
That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the. I'm thinking of that one.
It's the same song.
It is. Damn it.
But the point is, Aerosmith had this whole, the dude looks like a lady, loving an elevator.
Yeah.
That's all 80s Aerosmith.
God, that stuff is good.
Oh, it's really, really good.
Yeah. Is that Desmond Child stuff or something?
Desmond Child, and then like the
Mutt Lange, is Mutt Lange involved in that or something?
I don't. Somebody looked that up. I don't think Mutt Lange produced that stuff because everything's in standard tuning. But I know that like the ballads, like Diane Warren.
Yeah.
You're my angel, and
which is just down the street, you guys. If you ever want to.
What is?
Diane Warren, her entire huge office.
So here's the thing about Diane Warren, and I just saw her at a Christmas party.
Yeah.
Sorry to name drop. But
how old is Diane Warren right now? By the
none
way?
of my business.
Okay,
but
145.
When I was on KR 101 in the morning, in the radios in the morning show, she came on as a guest a couple of times. She would just phone in, just talk to Diane Warren, and it was well known. Our engineers, not one but two, knew keep your hand on the dump button
because she
cusses like
a sailor. You guys,
she'd make Richard Pryor brush. And by the way, Diane Warren does not care. What are we gonna do to her, right? So and then I was told this, and then we were on the air like, oh my god, you guys are not kidding.
Yeah.
You guys are kidding. Now, of course, like I said, I saw her at a Christmas party this past season, and she's just got jeans and sneakers and like a hoodie.
She's super approachable.
But then the hoodie has like a smiley face and a total expletive written. And there's like kids, and that's Diane Warren. Not that people recognize her on the street. She's not, but like if there's any doubt, like I don't have to ask for ID. That's definitely Diane Warren. Oh, I see what you're doing. This is Desmond Child.
And that's a lot more love. Anyways, you get the idea.
So here's my Desmond Child story. So I'm playing a rap party for a TV show. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And and I don't want to. Let's see. Let's just call him Don Dramos. Okay, there's an actor. Let's just say his name's Don Dramos, and he was on the TV show, and then he's in charge of putting
an anagram
for putting the band together to play the rap party. So I'm in the band, and there's going to be some guests, and at one point. He says, "Oh, and Desmond Child's going to be here, so he'll probably come up and we'll do some of his songs." So we go, "Oh my God, that could be like I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss."
You're going to have the same story I have about Desmond Child.
I'm thinking, this is incredible. So there, and I don't even know what he looks like in person, but there he is, right? He's an older
and
guy.
It's him when you see him finally.
Yeah, you can tell. So then he comes up and there's a keyboard set up. So he goes up to the keyboard and we're just and he turns and he just starts with "Living on a Prayer" and just block with "Donnie has a job on the."
Right.
Block and it's like we can't play it at tempo. And this is painful. And at one point, this is so awkward. Don Dramos stands up back behind his drum kit and takes a mic and goes, "It's a good thing you have other people singing your songs."
Yes, it is. You guys, that's the similar story I have.
Oh man.
And
then he drove home. in his car that's made out of cash. Desmond Child did.
Well, so there's a very famous guy that's married to Selena Gomez right now, whose name's escaping me. But if you look him up, he's written
Kenny Conco.
No, he's written just about every popular song that's come out in the last however many years. And I mean, whether you like him or not, I mean this person has written. He's prolific, and it's the same thing.
Yeah,
can't really do. Can just
doesn't have to.
For some reason, can write songs,
massive songs
that just connect with tons of people. You know.
You know what? Still, I would love to hear your band do some Black Eyed Peas.
You should do it.
That fills a dance floor. Let's see what else we got going. Oh, but did we talk about? So Rush, Tom Sawyer.
God, yeah.
Wait, that's what album is? Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
You know what? I think we might have played that once. And I don't remember I played it all.
You still have to have a lead singer that's hitting that tenor range. It takes two of us to play with just one. What Alex plays. Now Bryan Adams. We did Summer '69 last week.
So Cuts Like a Knife is another big cover band hit. Yeah. That's a big cover. We played that on cover band gigs before.
That's an only one. That's a good one.
I like that song a lot. Yeah.
I like the.
Oh wait.
That's good. Oh, that's what it is. What's that first change?
So,
it's like an A power chord?
Yeah. Oh, no, D. There. And then C sus2 or 9.
That's an A power chord.
Yeah. And then... Anyways, the bridge.
Look at Tom K's suggestion.
I can't see. Oh, yeah. These were ones that we actually thought about and named. And by the way, just in case the point of the show, it's the best cover band songs of the 80s part duh.
But duh.
Yeah. Which is French for something.
I forgot the umlaut.
Let's see.
For something.
I have a 12 string. We could get it out. But
I'm missing the game. I'm trying to replicate the 12 string here.
Take me to the chorus.
I was supposed to be Richie Sambora
during this part. Anyways, that's the hardest part about the song. You want to do solo?
But okay, so here's the thing. So I would read interviews with guys like Richie Sambora and all these guitar players and say, well, who are your influences? They say, yeah, it's like Clapton.
And then they'd say, B.B. King. And you're like, I think you're a liar. I'm calling you a liar. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was like, well, I don't remember those guys doing this stuff. I always thought that was like a big missing piece here.
Get the sodium pentothal.
No, by the way, so John has a great point, as he usually does. A rock metal cover band would be smart to have a female singer, who's just comfortably sitting in the range all the time. Honestly, that really makes all the sense in the world. Let's see. Men at Work. Well, no, they have. So the song "Overkill" is my absolute favorite of theirs.
Absolutely awesome.
The chord change is great, but it's got this wonderful.
It's in B, right?
Yeah. Night after night, Robert shows the fear, close the door and fade away. That change kills me. Ghost appear. It's like it goes to the 3 major and sus, then up to the 4. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Mick Mars from Motley Crue. How can we forget Motley Crue? Coils.
All right.
Gratuitous Dylan lives on. But Vito Bratta from White Lion. So Mara Lee loves the what's that? House of Love by is that Great White or it's Great White, right?
I want to tell you guys why I learned a bunch of these songs when I was a little kid.
You
ready for this?
You ready for this?
You're right. So we didn't have. When I say not much money, I mean genuinely, this was not an ideal money situation. So my store buying of tapes was, remember when you would go to the warehouse and there was a bin of tapes that they were tapes and they were like $1.
Right, the cutout bin.
And they had a cut in them at the bottom of it.
Oh, yeah, because that was like the label demo one?
Yeah,
or
you're
something?
A refuse tape type of thing.
It's the Land of Misfit tapes.
So I got a bunch of 80s tapes, and I would buy tapes based upon the covers because I never Kicks. I didn't know, but Kicks is a great cereal. Yeah. But I never get the name brand one anyway. So I want at least the band version of the name brand one. So anyways, I'd get Kicks and Striper, and I was buying with my eyes. And anyways, that's how I ended up learning a lot of this stuff. It wasn't even really. It was by accident.
But then there's just tons of guitar on there.
There's tons of guitar,
and so you just went to town.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, I guess I'll learn this.
Scorpions, like albums that weren't the more popular albums, so I would learn every song on that. Wow. You know what I mean? And those guys were really. I mean, if we do that.
Okay, keep going. So melodic.
Anyways, get the idea.
Just a lot of movement, great. So White Snake. No, I remember they'd had several albums. They'd been around since the 70s, but the big one with Here I Go Again and stuff like that seemed to be like. There was also that part where a lot of bands were kind of bringing back Zeppelin stuff specifically, and White Snake was most definitely guilty of that.
Some of those when I was a kid felt like they were untouchable because the keyboard drove so much of the song.
Interesting,
and we really, when you were back then, I think I just didn't.
The age of the DX7.
Yeah, and it was such a it's such a stereo instrument over the song that I would go straight to the guitar part if I was trying to learn something,
No, I was gonna, so don't worry, Eileen. Obviously, we have to talk about Guns N' Roses before we go, because to me, Guns N' Roses kind of helps close the 80s.
Yeah, they do.
I think Appetite comes out in 88, I think.
And they're
right?
88.
And they're kind of one of the last hard rock bands that breaks big before grunge.
But they're not your glam 80s rock band.
Well, no, that was the funny thing. Okay, so if ever you take your mind back to the first time we saw Dr. Dylan, excellent on lead, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Shining star there, MVP of the episode. Is that the first video we saw was Welcome to the Jungle.
Right.
And so in it, Axl is playing two different characters.
That's right.
And so
they're both bad people.
The lead singer on stage in the performance part of it, the hair sprays up. So I didn't know. I thought that was going to be his normal look.
No. That's his caricature.
I didn't know that was the character.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it wasn't until I think MTV they did a gig at the Ritz in New York City, a club gig, and they broadcast it live, and that's when I finally was like, oh, he's going to look like the Ivory Soap Girl.
Right.
And not like the, and so we didn't know,
Porcelain.
but of course you bought the album and you realize, oh, these guys are, not glamorizing anything.
Can I tell you, I had to buy that album more than once because my mom looked in it and there's a part where there's a robot like.
Well, it's a Robert Williams illustration.
Yeah, she didn't like that.
I wouldn't imagine she would. No.
So, and I was 7, so she's like, okay, well, we're not going to keep this. And so,
Oof.
Anyways.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, we got to go, frankly.
Well, so, here we go.
Scott, She Sells Sanctuary. So guess for Fender, back in the Fender Play days, guess who had to do the song video for She Sells Sanctuary and had to say She Sells Sanctuary several times on camera? This idiot.
Give us
That's how he sings it now.
Jeez, or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, Mark Knopfler. Oh, there's so many goes.
You want to do it? Oh.
And
Sorry. And any way you play that without an open tuning, you're doing it. You're doing it. Didn't he was an open tune for that? No, he's standard tune. Okay.
no, the trick to that one is the out of phase mic placement.
And you got to use your fingers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway, okay, we're getting more next week. More of this hard rock stuff. More 80s is too rich to move on from. We're not even ready for the 90s. Look at all these suggestions. Big G chord. Come on. I want to catch the end of the game.
3.
That's not good for the G chord.
Oh. Oh, you want me to play a G chord? I thought you were supposed to write G.
No, we play a G and right here.
Oh, won't you please take me home to...
This is so Wayne's World at this point. There's the G's.
The G's. Just,
Yeah, you're right. That takes